Well, as the kids get ready to head back to the classroom, they may be feeling a bit anxious. Issaquah mom, Marcelle Waldman, she's an author and a business owner and a former teacher. She has some helpful tips for parents to make back to school transitions much smoother. It's important that we're talking right now because there's always anxiety surrounding back to school, but this year especially, right? What are some of the biggest worries kids are having right now?
So I think some of the biggest worries are just questions, like questions about what's happening, what's it going to look like? Is it going to look the same as what it looked like last year? Is it going to look different? What are the rules? What are my responsibilities? No matter what age your child is, I think there's definitely room for communication with your child about kind of what is going on. And we don't always have the perfect answers right now.
That's what I was going to say, Marcelle, is that I don't know what's going on. You know what? Right. Neither does 90% of the public. I don't think any of us really know what's happening day to day, week to week. Right. So are there anything that we can do as parents right now?
Absolutely.
To help the kids?
Absolutely. So I will just say communication is key. Whether your child is verbal or nonverbal, for all children, communication is key. The first thing parents and caretakers really need to do is address their child's feelings. Ask questions. Younger children, you're going to be a little more leading, right? Like, are you feeling excited about school? How are you feeling about seeing your friends again? Really kind of leading questions. For older children, you can ask things like, what are you most worried about? Or are you worried? Kind of giving them an opportunity to open up. And then our much older kids, like our teenagers, our youth, I think those questions are a little more like, how can I support you? Like, what can I do to support you as your parent, as your caretaker in this year to come? So really communicating and asking those questions early. And then validating, like, even though you as the parent or caretaker might not be feeling the same or feeling that that's how your child feels, I think it's really important to validate and let them know that you hear them and that you are there and you're supporting them and you're listening.
That's so important. I think as adults, we know how important it feels to be validated, but we forget the kids need that too. They're just little humans, just like us.
Absolutely.
I do have a little human it's really hard for her to open up to me. Sometimes I think maybe something really isn't bothering her, but then sometimes I think it is, and she doesn't want to open up. Are there any advice for kids who maybe are having a hard time communicating how they're feeling?
Absolutely. So I think for the littles, like starting with them as a kindergarten teacher, having taught preschool as well, using role play, whether it's using dolls or it's using your own selves. I think role play is a really good space to be, or puppets of some sort or dolls. Also using journals, like whether it's drawing a picture in a special journal or on a piece of paper. I think those are all really good ways to open up communication when a child is just not sure how to speak to you or approach the subject or open up. I have a daughter myself who's 11, and journals are kind of her thing. She writes in them, she draws in them, and then we even have journals that we pass back and forth and talk to each other. So I think sometimes that's a little bit easier to open up those discussions. And what your child might look like on the outside may not exactly be what they're feeling inside. And for our teenagers, what about lunch? Like, that is the most unstructured time. They may not know anyone at their new school or in their new surroundings. So anticipating those worries that you might know about your child is also a really good way to open up the communication and ask those questions. If you don't have anyone to sit with when you go on your first day, what are some things you could do? So anticipating how your daughter might feel, or for the rest of you out there, how your children might feel, are good ways you can start right now before school begins. Start establishing those routines, because we've probably put them by the wayside with, it being summer. And again, transition to school is always kind of a big jump. So start those routines. Like, we're starting probably in about the next week and a half or so, depending on where you go to school in this area. Start getting those wake times, those good breakfasts in, all of that. That's really, really important. Get the sleep, get the meals in, and just start thinking about what's coming soon. And the last one is just communicating with your child's teacher They are there for you. I want you to think about that early open connection and communication with them. They are doing their best for all of us. We are a team with them, and just please give them a heads up if you know something's going on. That is so important. And always, always talk to your healthcare providers if there are bigger things that you need to discuss.
Great advice. Thank you, Marcelle.
Thank you so much.